One of the common denominators that I've heard throughout this trip is the imperative of American engagement, American leadership. Every country I talk to is looking for us to play a leading role with our diplomacy to try to make progress on all of these different aspects of the crisis. We're working, as I said, very aggressively on getting more humanitarian assistance into Gaza, and we have very concrete ways of doing that. And I think you'll see in the days ahead that assistance can expand in significant ways.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken arriving in Turkey after unexpected visits to the West Bank and Iraq. Diplomacy efforts continuing with stops in Japan, South Korea and India as the administration looks to refocus some of the attention on China. This is Secretary Yellen and her Chinese counterpart prepare for 2 days of talks on Thursday, with Biden and Xi meeting days later in San Francisco. Annmarie joins us now for more. Morning, Annmarie.
Good morning, John. Well, foreign policy is absolutely dominating the Biden administration. Over the weekend, we saw more frenetic diplomacy with Secretary of State Antony Blinken in the region, in Israel and in other Gulf states, making the surprise stop as well, speaking with Mahmoud Abbas in the West Bank, in Iraq and in Turkey. On top of that, Jonathan, Bill Burns, the head of the CIA, is also in Israel today and is going to be traveling throughout the region. So clearly what you see from this administration is, one, they want to make sure humanitarian aid is getting into Gaza, and at the same time, they also want to make sure that this conflict is not spread throughout the region. And when it comes to foreign policy, and you're talking about this sit-down between President Biden and Xi Jinping, well, China and the United States have taken the opposite ends of these conflicts, whether it be Israel and Hamas, which Hamas is backed by Iran, or Russia and Ukraine. So this will be top of mind. But when it comes to Secretary Yellen, she's going to be sitting down with her counterpart, Jonathan, and for her, it's all about the economy. Writing an opinion piece this morning in the Washington Post, listen to what she had to say. This week, I will speak to my counterpart about our serious concerns with Beijing's unfair economic practices, including its large-scale use of non-market tools, its barriers to market access, and its coercive actions against U.S. firms in China, Jonathan.
Annmarie, let's put two stories together. There were some big protests over the weekend in the nation's capital. I want you to try and put that together with one poll we saw from New York Times, Siena College, with the former President Donald Trump leading in 5 critical swing states against the current president, Joe Biden. What's the pressure like within his party to take a different path?
Well, the pressure is palpable, Jonathan. When I walked into the White House this morning, what you see outside the White House concrete is handprints of blood. And what they are calling for, these protesters, is a ceasefire immediately in Gaza. Now, there are some protesters, Jonathan, who are calling for a ceasefire because they want to stop the bloodshed. They don't want to see, no one wants to see innocent civilian lives in the Palestinian territory of Gaza lost. At the same time, though, Jonathan, this administration wants to make sure that they are supporting Israel as they defend themselves from Hamas after that horrific massacre on October 7th. What you're seeing in these polls, Jonathan, though, is in these swing states, like the New York Times Siena poll, similar to Bloomberg's News' poll with Morning Consult, the former president is winning when it comes to things like national security and the economy.